Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Hello and welcome to today's class. My name's Danny and I will be your instructor for today. This class is our neck and upper back beginners class. It's aimed at people who are having pain or any other symptoms in the neck and upper back and over the top of the shoulders as well. We'll be focusing on all the major muscle groups in that area. The exercises will be very gentle and a low level as this is a beginners class, so it's aimed for people who haven't got experience in exercise. All the equipment you need will be on the screen, and all you need to do is grab a drink and we'll meet back here for the warm-up. Let's get started with our warm-up then. So with this warm-up, we're aiming to increase our heart rate, activate the muscles, increase mobility, all ready for our exercise class that's coming up. So we're going to start off nice and simple with just some marching on the spot. We're going to be doing this for 1 minute. Do it at your own pace, whether you want to go nice and slow or quite fast, completely up to you. Fab, let's get going for 1 minute then. Make sure we're swinging those arms, lifting the feet nice and high whilst we're marching. Remember, we're working to increase that heart rate, so just taking it at your own pace. That's great, keep swinging those arms, lifting those knees nice and high. And we are nearly halfway there. Great. Again, taking it at your own pace, just as we start the warm-up. Okay, 10 more seconds. Great, and bring that down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some jogging on the spot this time. We're only going to go for 30 seconds this time. Again, doing it at your own pace. Just make sure that you've got a nice, safe environment around you. Okay, when we're ready, off we go. Again, make sure we're moving those arms and lifting those feet nice and high off the floor. That's it, halfway there. Good, 5 seconds left. And bring it down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to do some hip circles. So for this one, I want your feet sort of shoulder width apart on the floor and the hands just resting on your hips. We're going to start off with very small circles. So we're going to sort of push the hips to one side, bring them round to the front and round to the back. Again, just do them at your own pace, and also with the circle, just make it as small or as big as you can, depending on how you're feeling. We're going to go for 30 seconds. When we're ready, off we go. That's it. So just make sure we're concentrating on really pushing those hips all the way around the movement. That's good. Because we're coming up to halfway, we're going to switch and go in the opposite direction. Again, like I said, if you need to do small circles with how you're feeling at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Or nice and big circles, doesn't matter. Great, and come to a stop. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to go into doing some leg swings. For this one, I'm going to do it just freestanding, but if you need to, you can hold onto a wall hold onto the back of a chair, whichever works best for you. We're going to start off with our right leg. So again, like I said, holding onto something for stability if needs be. We're going to go for 30 seconds. We're just going to lift the leg out in front of us and then slowly lift behind. Okay, off we go. So just swinging that leg at your own pace. Like I said, if you need to hold on to something, then that's absolutely fine. Good. That's great, keeping the knee nice and straight and just swinging back and forwards. That's it, we've got 5 seconds left on this leg and then we'll switch over. Great, okay. So if you need to swing the chair around to the other side or reposition yourself so that you can hold onto the wall the opposite way, that's fine. And then we'll go for 30 seconds again. So on the left leg this time, swinging back and forth. That's great. Again, just doing it at your own pace, lifting the leg in a range of movement that's comfortable for you. Good. Okay, 10 seconds left on this leg. Great, and come to a stop, just back into our resting position. So the next activity that we're going to do is going to be with our arms. We're going to go for some arm circles. So what we'll do, we'll start off with our right arm because we started with our right leg. We'll pop our hand out to the side, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with some circles, just going backwards like this. If you need to do the circles nice and small, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, if you can, then we're going to do nice big circles with the arm. Again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you at the moment. And again, we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I said, make sure we're doing this one in a comfortable range of movement. It can be as small or as big as you need at the moment. That's great, we've done 15 seconds on this arm. That's great, last 5 seconds. Brilliant, okay. And this time we're going to do the exact same on the left arm. So again, arm out to the side, you can do small circles if you need to, obviously big ones if you can as well. Fab, off we go, 30 seconds on this one. That's great. Again, just going at the speed that sort of works for you at the moment. If you need to move nice and slowly through this movement, that's fine. Obviously, if you can, then obviously we'll go a bit quicker. That's great, and just 5 more seconds. Perfect, okay. Last exercise of our warm-up, we're going to do some movements with our spine. So we're going to work in 4 different directions. We're going to go for a forward movement, a backwards movement, and then side to side as well. So what I'll do first is I'll show you what we're going to do, and then I'll explain how many we're going to do after that. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. For the forwards movement, I'd like you to have your hands resting on the front of your legs. And then what I want you to do nice and slowly is just come down as far as you can until you start to feel that bit of a stretch in the lower back, and then return up to your neutral position. Then we'll go for the opposite. So this time I'll turn to the side to show you, you're going to lean backwards. Again, just a gentle movement, and back up to the neutral position. Then hands down by our sides. It doesn't matter which side you do first, but you're going to bend over to the side, back up, and over to the other side. We're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, just going as far as you can. Okay, we'll do them all together. So if we start at the front, we're going to come down, just go as far as you can, and then back up to that neutral position. Then we're going to lean back, again to the neutral position, hands down by our sides, drop one hand down the side of the leg, back up, and then over to the other side. So that's 1 repetition. So now we'll go for our second. So again, we're going to come back down the front, nice and slowly and controlled. And then this time lean backwards. That's great. And then down to one side. back up and over into the other direction. Brilliant, onto number 3, so back to the front, coming down as far as you can, and back up, and then leaning back, and back into that neutral position. Hands down by our sides, and we'll go over to one side, and back up, then over to the other side, and back up. And now for number 4, back to the front, leaning forwards, and back up. Hands on our hips, and we'll lean backwards, back to our neutral position, and down to one side, and back over to the other direction. Brilliant, last one now, hands back on the front. We're going to lean down as far as we can, back up to the middle, hands on our hips, and lean back to the middle, and then this time we'll drop down one side, back up, and then down to the other side. Okay, that completes our warm-up. So if you want to go and grab a bottle of water ready for our exercise class, and we'll get started. Okay, so this exercise is called scapular setting. It's a nice, gentle and subtle movement of the shoulder blades. So what we're going to do, we're going to have our feet shoulder width apart, arms in a comfortable position down by our sides. If you want to and find it more comfortable, you can rest the hands on the hips as well. From here, what we're going to do, we're going to pull our shoulders back and push them down as far as we can. So we're thinking about moving the shoulder blades back, squeezing them together and lowering them down as much as possible. You're going to come into that position, so squeeze them back and down, hold for 1 second, and then relax from there. We're going to continuously do that for a minute. Then we're going to have a quick break, and then we'll go for a minute again. Okay, so find a comfortable position, and when you're ready, off we go. You're going to pull the shoulders back and down, hold for a second, and relax. And back, down, hold for a second, and relax. Same thing, keep going, nice and slow. So just getting used to using those muscles around the shoulder blades. And make sure we're keeping our breath nice and steady on this one. Bring them back, down, and relax. And keep going, we're about halfway there. Down, relax. So we're coming back with the shoulder blades. Down and relax, back, down and relax. Okay, keep going. That's great, 10 more seconds. And then relax there. Okay, so we're going to take a quick 20-second break. So if you need a drink, then make sure you grab one, and then we'll come back for the second set. Okay, and on to our second set. We're going to do exactly the same as we did before. So if we get our feet into a shoulder width position, we're going to hold our hands down by our sides in a comfortable position. If you need to, you can pop your hands on your hips. And we're just going to repeat the same movement for another minute. Okay, so when we're ready, off we go. Pull the shoulders back and down, hold for a second and relax. And again, back, down, and relax, back, down and relax. Remember, just going at your own pace, but making sure we're holding that position for at least a second. That's great, we should be feeling those muscles around the shoulder blades working nice and hard. great, 20 more seconds. So back, down and hold. That's great. 10 more seconds. Keep going with them. Okay, and relax there for me. Okay, that's the end of that exercise then. So we're going to take another 20 seconds. If you need a quick drink, then make sure you get one, and then we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is the chin to chest stretch. So for this one, we're going to have a chair and we're going to take a seated position. You can do it in standing as well, but just for comfort, we'll do it on a chair. So you're going to take a seat. From here, you're going to keep the shoulders down. You're going to bring the chin towards the chest. And then if you can, so if it's not feeling like a stretch at that point, you're going to bring the hands up to the back of the head and just apply a gentle pressure. So you're going that little bit further. And we're going to hold this for 20 seconds. We'll do it 3 times through. And then that's it for this exercise, okay? So into that position, so chin down and then gentle pressure with the head, and off we go for 20 seconds. That's great. Breathe in nice and slowly in this one. Trying to relax into the stretch if we can. Nice deep breaths. Okay, and then come out of the stretch. Okay, we're going to take a couple of seconds break. If you feel like you need a little bit longer, then make sure to pause the video and then just rejoin when you feel ready. But if not, then we're going to go again. So we're going to bring the chin down to the chest, and then with the hands, if it's not feeling like a stretch at this point, we're going to bring the hands and add that extra bit of pressure. And off we go for 20 seconds. You should be feeling that nice gentle stretch down the back of the neck. Remember with these stretches that we shouldn't be feeling pain, it should just be a gentle stretch. If you're feeling pain, we might be going slightly too far, so just come up out of the stretch slightly if that is the case. Okay, and then relax from there. Brilliant. So as we did before, we're going to take a couple of seconds rest before going again for our third and final time through this stretch. If you need a little bit longer, then make sure to pause the video and then come back when you are ready. If not, then let's get back into the position, bringing the chin to the chest, lifting the hands and applying that gentle pressure, and off we go for 20 seconds. So just going as far as you feel comfortable with at the moment, making sure we're just getting that gentle stretch down the back of the neck and we're not getting any pain. Nice deep breaths. Okay, and then relax from there. Brilliant. So that's it for this exercise. We're going to take a 20-second break now. If you need a quick drink of water, make sure to get one, and then we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, for this next exercise, we're going to be doing something called a dead bug. I'm going to show you what that means. We're going to be down on the floor, so take your time getting to the floor. If you need to pause the video whilst you get there, then make sure you do. Okay, so we're going to be lying on the floor on our backs. Now, if you want this to be a little bit more challenging, you can lift the knees into what we call a tabletop position, like so. If not, just leave the feet flat on the floor. And our arms are going to go up in the air, pointing up towards the ceiling. Now, nice and controlled, we're going to bring one arm down so that we just are a few centimetres off the floor, bring it back up and switch arms. Once we've done each arm, that would count as 1 repetition. We're going to do 10 in total. Off we go. Breathe in nice and slowly. Arm down And the other one. That's 1 repetition. That's great. Nice slow breathing, nice and controlled, slow movements. Like I said, if you want to make it that little bit more difficult, then we would have our legs in the tabletop position. We're focusing only on the arm part of the dead bug exercise. That's great. And we'll go for 2 more on each arm. And once we get to 10, just relax from there. Okay, that's the end of our first set. We're going to have a 20-second break and then we will move on to our second set. Okay, back onto our second set. So we're going to reposition ourselves back on the floor. And like we said before, the legs can be on the feet on the floor or they can be in our tabletop position, whichever you want to do. Arms up in the air, and we're going to go for 10 repetitions on each arm. Again, off we go. Nice and slow and controlled. Coming down to just a couple of centimetres away from the floor and back up. If you find that you can't get the arms that far down, that's absolutely fine. Just work within your comfortable range of movement. That's great. Let's do 4 more on each arm. Nice and slow, keeping that breathing nice and steady. Okay, and 1 more on each arm. Very good. Okay, and relax from there, and then take your time to come up into a standing position. And that is the end of that exercise. So we're going to take another 20-second break, grab yourself a drink, and then we'll come back for the next one. Okay, so this exercise is going to be the child's pose. So we're going to use this one as a bit more of a stretch. So we're going to be holding this position for 30 seconds, 3 times through. We're going to be down on the mat again, so take your time to get down there. We're going to start on our knees with the feet sort of tucked underneath, so the top of the feet is towards the mat. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pop into our sort of 4-point kneeling position. And from here, you're going to drop the heels down, bring the hands forward, and bring the head through the hole in between your arms. You should feel a nice long stretch down the back for this one, okay? And we're going to go, like I said, for 30 seconds, 3 times through, okay? Fab. So from here, drop down into that child's pose, tuck the head in, and then we're going to stay here off for 30 seconds. Off we go. Making sure you're doing nice slow breaths in and out with this one. And also just coming back down as far as you can. If you can't get all the way down to your heels, don't worry. Just go as far as you can. And with your arms, really try and stretch them out as far forward as you can. So we're getting a nice stretch all the way up the back. That's great. And then from here, we're just going to come back up into our 4-point kneeling position and then walk back into a relaxed position. Okay, because this one's just a stretch, we're going to take a few seconds between each one. But if you do need longer, then just make sure to pause the video and then just join back in when you are ready. Okay, but if not, then we're going to go again into our 4-point kneeling position. And then we're just going to drop down, just going as far as you can, and then tucking that head down into the position. Remember, we're stretching our arms out as far in front as we can as well, so that they're getting a nice stretch all the way up the back. Nice slow breathing. That's it. Okay, and then returning back up into our 4-point kneeling and coming back into a relaxed position. Okay, so we've got one more left to do, and just like before, if you do need a bit more time in between these exercises, just pause the video and come back on when you are ready. But if not, then we'll go for a final time. So we're going to go into our 4-point kneeling and then slowly lower ourselves back down. Once we're in that position, we'll get going with our 30 seconds. Tuck that head in, stretch those arms out, feel that nice stretch of the back, and nice steady breathing. That's great. 10 more seconds. Okay, back up to our 4-point kneeling, and then take your time to return up to a standing position. That's the end of that exercise. So we're now going to have a 20-second break. If you need a quick drink of water, make sure you grab one, and then we'll come back for the next one. Okay, for this exercise, we're going to be doing something called supine snow angels. So we're just going to be lying on our back on the floor for this one. But whilst I'm standing up, I'm going to show you the movement we're going to do with our arms, just in case you can't see it fully when I'm on the floor. So when we're lying on our back on the floor, we're going to start with our arms in this position, trying to keep the hands on the floor if possible. And from there, we're going to lift the arms up above our head and bring them back down. Okay, like we're making a snow angel in the snow, but obviously we're going to do it on the floor, nice and slowly and controlled. And like I said, trying to keep the hands on the floor if we can. Okay, we're going to set a 30-second timer and we're going to do it 3 times through. Okay, so we'll take a little break in between. But yeah, let's get into the first one. Okay, so down onto the floor, take your time getting down. And then we're going to lie on our backs. The feet can either be bent up in this position or you can have them straight. It doesn't matter. We're focusing on the arms for this one. So we're going to start in this position. Like I said, try if you can to get the hands on the floor. If you can't, it's fine. Just take them to wherever is comfortable for you. And then what we're going to do is push the arms up and touch the hands above our head and bring them back down. Okay, for 30 seconds, go at your own pace and I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, off we go then. So nice and focusing on our breathing, nice and slow. Keeping the hands on the floor if you can. If not, just keeping them as close as possible. Great. Keep going with those. Focusing on keeping the hands on the floor and nice slow breathing. And relax from there. Okay, so we're going to have a couple of seconds break. If you need a little bit longer, then just pause the video and come back when you're ready. But if not, then let's start again. So we're going to go hands in this position towards the floor, just as close as you can, and off we go for another 30 seconds. So nice and slowly and controlled. Hands up to touch above the head if you can, and then back down to shoulder height. That's great, keep going. At your own pace, remember. Okay, and relax there. So we have one set of these left. We're going to take a few seconds as a bit of a breather. If you need a little bit longer, then just pause the video and then we can go again. But if not, then hands at shoulder height and let's go for our last 30 seconds. That's great, focusing on that breathing. Trying to get the hands to touch the floor where possible. Nice and slow, controlled movements. 10 more seconds left. That's great, and relax there. Okay, in your own time, we're going to come up to our standing position. And that's that exercise complete. So we're going to have a 20-second break. Grab yourself a drink if you need one, and then we'll be back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the isometric neck side flexion. So all that means is that we're going to be doing what we call an isometric contraction. That means we're going to be contracting the muscles in the side of the neck, but we're not going to be moving the head whilst we do it, okay? We're going to be in a static position whilst contracting those muscles, and we're going to do that in side flexion, which is just tilting our head to the side. So I've got a chair for this one, so you can be seated. You can do it in standing as well, wherever you feel more comfortable. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go one side at a time. You take your hand to the side of the head, and from here, with the head, you should be trying to move towards the shoulder. And with the hand, you're almost trying to push the head the opposite way. So because we've got the force from both sides, you won't actually see any movement, okay? So at the moment, I'm pushing into my hand with my head, and I'm pushing into my head with my hand, okay? We're gonna hold that position for 10 seconds, then we'll swap and do the opposite side, okay? So off we go. We'll push into the hand with the head, and pushing with the hand, back into the head, so we're making force from both sides. Okay, and then relax from there, and we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So bring the hand to the side of the head, and then we're going to resist those against each other, and off we go for 10 seconds. That's great, so it shouldn't be too difficult, this one, as we're just pushing against our hands so we can control the pressure. Okay, and then release from there and relax. Okay, we're going to take a few seconds now for a little bit of a break. If you do feel like you need a little bit of extra time, just pause the video and then come back when you are ready. But if not, then we'll go back to the original side, hand on the side of the head. And remember, we're going to push into the hand with the head and then the opposite way with the hand. Okay, off we go. So we're holding it for 10 seconds. You can control the pressure of this exercise through your hand. Okay, and relax there. And now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So lift the hand to the head, push the two towards each other, and off we go for 10 seconds. So you should feel the muscles on the side of the neck contracting as they try and push the head into the hand. Okay, and relax from there. Brilliant, so we've got one more to do on each side. So if you do need a little bit of time before we go into the final ones, then make sure you pause the video and come back when you're ready. But if not, we're going to lift up the original hand and we're going to go push into the hand and off we go for 10. That's good. Breathe in nice and slowly through this. Very good. And relax from there. And then the last one, we're going to go to the opposite side and off we go again, pushing the hand and the head towards each other and holding that for 10. Very good. And relax from there. Brilliant. Okay, that is the end of that exercise. So we're going to take a 20-second break, grab a drink if you need one, and we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, we're coming on to the last exercise of today's class before we move on to the cool down. So we're going to be doing Supermans for our final exercise. We are going to only be doing the arm portion of the exercise, but I'll explain all of that to you once we're on the floor. So we need to be lying on our front for this exercise. So take your time to get down to the floor and then I will explain what we're doing. So from our front lying position here, we're going to have the head off the floor for this exercise, but I want you to be looking down at the mat, okay? We don't want to be looking all the way up. Head's off the floor, but looking at the mat. Arms are going to be stretched out in front of us. And from here, what we're going to do, keeping the stomach and everything else flat on the floor, we're just going to lift the arms, hold it for 1 second, and then come back down. Okay, nice and slow and controlled movement. Really try and think about your breathing throughout this exercise as well. Try not to hold your breath throughout. Nice big breaths in and out. Okay, we're going to go for 8 repetitions and we're going to do 2 sets. So from here, lift up, looking at your mat, and back down. And again, lift up, and back down. Very good. Keep that breathing nice and slow. That's it. Keep looking at that mat and holding that position up at the top whilst we work our way up to 8 repetitions. That's great. Okay, we have finished that set now, so you can go and get a quick drink if you want one, and we're just going to take a 20-second break before we come back for our second set. Okay, so final set of this exercise. We're just going to come back onto our stomach on the mat. Again, like we said before, looking at the mat, not looking up in front. Head lifted off the floor. And we're going to go for 8 repetitions again. Okay, so we lift up and back down. Nice and slow and controlled. Don't just drop your hands to the mat, bring them down in a controlled manner. That's it. Keep looking at the mat. Don't lift that head up. Very good, and focusing on that breathing as we go up to number 8. That's great. Okay, and now take the time to get back up into your standing position. Okay, brilliant. Well, that is the end of today's class. We are going to move on to the cool down, which is really important. But before that, if you take 20 seconds break, go and have a little drink, and then we'll come back for a nice and relaxed cool down. Okay, let's get started with our cool down. So with the cool down, we're going to be focusing on bringing that heart rate back down, bringing our breathing rates back down, and sort of just relaxing the muscles after the class that you've done. So we're going to start off nice and easy with 30 seconds of deep breathing. So for the breathing, I'd really focus on breathing in through the nose and then breathing back out through the mouth. We're wanting those nice deep breaths. So when we are breathing in, try and think about sort of filling the rib cage, and then obviously releasing on the breath out. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So like I said, breathing in through the nose and back out through the mouth. And make sure, like we said, we're really trying to fill that rib cage with air when we're breathing in, and then breathing out nice and slowly. You might find that at the moment, because you've just finished the exercises, that it's a bit difficult to slow that breathing rate down, but just go at your own pace. Okay, fab. What we're going to go on to next, again, nice and easy, we're going to go on to some walking on the spot. So in the warm-up before, we were obviously trying to increase our heart rate with the marching and the jogging. This time we're trying to bring it back down. So we're going to go nice and slowly and just walk on the spot. Okay, for 30 seconds, off we go. That's great. So still swinging those arms like we were before, but obviously just in a bit more of a relaxed position on this one, and going a little bit slower. That's great, that's halfway there. Five more seconds. Great, okay, this time we're going to move on to doing some hip circles. So we did these in our warm-up before, but again, a bit like the walking, we're going to bring the pace down on this one. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips, and again, make the circles as small or as big as you can. And we're just going to go big circles with the hips, nice and slowly. We're going to do 30 seconds all together. Off we go. Bringing the pace down a little bit on this one, just moving through the full movement, nice and slowly. We can still concentrate on our breathing in these cool down exercises. So really trying to slow that breathing down. 10 more seconds. Great, okay. For the next movement, we're going to be going down to the floor. So take your time getting down. If you need to hold on to something, then do that. Nice and carefully onto the floor. And we're going to have the feet out in front, legs nice and straight. I want you to try and keep the knees as straight as possible with this one. And then we're going to rest the hands on the front of the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide down the legs just as far as you can. And we want to grip on to our legs as close as we can to our ankles, and we're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, so moving down just as far as you can, and then let's hold for 30 seconds. Off we go. Still focusing on that breathing when we're doing this movement, so breathing nice and slowly in and out, and we should feel that nice gentle stretch down the back of the legs. Okay, we're halfway there. 10 seconds left. And 5 seconds. Okay, and sit back up into that relaxed position. We're going to get ourselves back up into a standing position, but again, take your time. If you need to hold on to something to help you get up, then that's absolutely fine. Okie doke. Once we're up then, for the next movement, we're going to be doing some stretches, mobility work for the middle back. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. The hands this time are going to come up behind the head. And we're going to be doing 4 different movements. So we're going to be coming down into a forward position, back up and into a slightly extended position. Then we're also going to do some flexion to the side, back up into a middle position and over to the side. Okay, we might add in a little bit of rotation too, just to stretch a few extra muscles. We're going to go for 30 seconds. I want you to go at your own pace and we're just going to move through all those different movements just making sure that we're stretching all the right muscles. Okay, off we go all together. So coming forwards, back up into that slightly extended position, and back down, over to the sides, and then rotating. That's great. And again, we're going to go slightly forwards and up and slightly back. Then we're going to lean to the sides. And again, we might go slightly over 30 seconds, but we want to get all those movements back in. And the final rotation. Okay, and then bring the arms back down into our neutral position. We're going to finish off by doing 30 seconds of our deep breathing again. So we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, make sure we're trying to fill that rib cage there, and then release. Okay, off we go. So hopefully this breathing will be sort of easier now. Hopefully you'll be breathing that a little bit slower. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, really trying to fill that rib cage with air. And back down. Brilliant. Okay, well done everyone. So thank you for attending our exercise class today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope to see you very soon on our next session. Thank you.